And I also like in real estate that you can work 15 hours a day. I mean, there's always, I mean, the first couple of years I didn't have much going on. I didn't have, I don't think I did a deal for almost the first year. I think I started in January of 2010. I think my first deal was October of 2010. So, I mean, 10 months of studying street maps. And I remember I would print out every single contract there was and just read it and highlight it and memorize every single contract. So if a client ever asked me a question, I had the answer.
This video is about money. It's about establishing a mindset. It's also about what are some of the habits that people who make a lot of money have. And hopefully in this video, in this live stream, you can learn something about that. Disclaimer, I am not giving anybody financial advice. If you want to get financial advice, if you're having financial issues, you should seek a financial professional. I only can speak from my experience, and I can kind of work through what my mindset is in regards to money. And I know that I don't know everything, so I lean on people who know more than me. And we're going to get right into the content here. If you're just coming in, hit the like button. Support the channel. I appreciate you for watching. And let's get right into the content and what they had to say during this interview, what Jason had to say during this interview. Make sure I'm lined up here. I'm building it while I fly it, guys. I'm building it while I fly it. All right, here we go.
Find that goes away after a certain age, or like, is it a dollar amount or is it an age where you start to want to like not work so hard?
I think
when is enough
I'm
enough?
Much smarter now. I delegate a lot more. Back then, I wasn't comfortable spending any money on an assistant. Now I delegate a lot. So I'm a much smarter worker. I focus on the more high level things. But back then, and I think that's where you learn, I was just doing every little thing myself. I still am, but just overly meticulous and OCD about everything. Everything had to be perfect. So I would reread. I didn't probably have a single spelling mistake in a single email for like the first 4 years of my career, maybe 5. Now you'll be lucky if I capitalize anything.
So what do we take away there? What can we learn from that? He said he was initially, of course, everybody says you need to work hard. That's obvious. That's a habit that everybody that's successful for the most part has. But he also said one thing that really helped him to be more successful is he learned how to delegate. He learned how to let somebody else help him and to put somebody in a position to be successful to ultimately help him grow a successful real estate business. If you haven't watched Selling Sunset, if you're not familiar with the Oppenheim Group, they're a real estate brokerage, and they sell, manage, have multiple properties, and I'm talking about hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate. So a key to what he's doing is delegating, so he doesn't have everything on his plate, and that's actually allowed him to bloom. So that's the first key, a habit that you can use in your endeavors in the future to know when to get help. All right, so let's continue.
I kind of see a little bit of parallels between the work ethic between you two, and I could see why you guys got along and why you hired Graham.
Yeah, we were super similar. I mean, you are still grinding your stuff too, but we were probably the two hardest workers in the office, I would say.
Yeah, I would always stay in the latest. And usually for those first few years, I wouldn't leave until usually like 1 a.m.
That's crazy.
I loved working
That's nuts.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
It was so
oftentimes it would just be the two of us
yeah,
in the office.
Yeah. But like after 9 p.m., it's just something about it where there's no one else there. There's no traffic in front of the office, and it's just peaceful. And like you could get anything done, and there's not a rush. I really like that.
And I also like in real estate that you can work 15 hours a day. I mean, there's always,
15 hours in a day. They're talking about working 15 hours in a day. And mind you, these guys make a lot of money. This was at a time when they weren't making the amount of money that they are making now, but that is a habit that somebody that is extremely successful has. I talked about this in a previous live stream, in a previous show. People who are very successful and make a lot of money, they're not necessarily driven by the money, by making money. They're actually driven by the work. They actually are driven by accomplishing things. And when you are like that and you have that type of mindset, working takes on a whole different thing. You actually take pride in what you're doing because you know and you could see the bigger purpose and the bigger vision behind the work. So that's one thing that I think I have, and it's kind of innately in me, where, don't get me wrong, I am not successful like these guys. I'm not going to even claim to be, but I will say I have a work ethic and a drive to do good things. And to, if I do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I'm constantly trying to figure out how to get better. One of those endeavors is this YouTube channel. And when I was first starting out, I didn't really understand everything about YouTube. I didn't know about editing. I didn't know about audio. I didn't know how to properly put the channel together, about proper storylines and a lot of different things. I'm still trying to figure all that out. I still am trying to figure out my cadence when it comes to organizing content, doing titles, thumbnails, the whole shebang. However, my work ethic, I will say I will put that up against anybody's. I will continue to try to get better, and I'll do something each and every day to get to a goal that I'm after. That's just kind of the mentality that I have. And that's one thing that I appreciate and that I've learned from watching people like this. Check out that sweater too, the Prada sweater. That's nice. A little off-white. I see you, Jason. Let's continue. Let's see here. Oh, we got a comment from Linda. Hey, bro, how are y'all doing watching live? Handsome guy. Thank you, Linda. Blessings to you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about some more money. Let's see here. Oh, I kind of lost my bearings. I might have to get a second monitor to be able to do this a little bit easier. I'm dealing with 3 windows right now, but build it while you fly. Here we go.
I mean, the first couple of years, I didn't have much going. I didn't have. I don't think I did a deal for almost the first year. I think I started in January of 2010. I think my first deal was October of 2010. So, I mean, 10 months of studying street maps, and I remember I would print out every single contract there was and just read it and highlight it and memorize every single contract. So if a client ever asked me a question, I had the answer. Yeah, I mean, it was very tedious, menial, right. And then going to every open house and broker open, trying to learn about what a house is worth and finishes, fixtures. I mean, the whole thing. There's so much to learn. That's why I love real estate.
What was the most challenging part of that? Was it the contracts or was it the negotiations?
No, that stuff was always super. I was getting clients. I mean, for me, as an attorney and just someone whose mind enjoys contracts and negotiations, I love all the detail. So for me, it was the clients that was probably the hardest thing.
That interview was important. I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize is the people who are very successful, they have certain traits. He talked about being able to delegate. He also talked about like working 15 hours like it was nothing. Like I was working 15 hours and it didn't feel like work to him. So a lot of people just see the glitz and the glamour behind people who make money, but a lot of the traits of people who are successful, it's not about the money necessarily for them. It's about accomplishing things. It's about using that energy that they have, using that drive to want to be a successful person, that mind that never turns off, and putting it towards something that they can direct their energy towards. That's what I've noticed, at least. So that's that. I thought that was an interesting conversation. Again, check out the Iced Coffee Hour. I'm going to link it in the description to this live stream. Very fascinating conversation. They always have great guests. I learned so much from there. That's one of the things that I do as a habit to constantly evolve, constantly learn, because I know I don't have all the answers, like I've said before. I've learned so much from Graham Stephan and Jason Oppenheim just from that interview. But you guys already know how I feel about Graham Stephan. He's part of the reason why I started a YouTube channel in the first place, because short little story here. During the pandemic, when we were all locked in, I got tired of watching Netflix. I got tired of watching movies. I got tired of seeing the same old reality TV shows. So I went on a YouTube one day and I saw Graham Stephan at his table, and he had a cool little set. You know, it seemed like, you know, kind of laid back a bit. And he also had a T-Rex head on the side of his desk. And I was like, oh, that seems kind of cool. But then I started seeing his content. And the thing that Graham Stephan did that a lot of people that I've seen on YouTube something that Graham Stephan did that a lot of people that I see on YouTube and online don't do, or it just didn't connect with me, is he keeps the information relatable. He delivers it in a way that's concise and clear, and it's done in segments that are like 18 to 15 minutes long. So I would binge his content, especially like the reactions when he would be reacting to how much money other people had, how much they're spending on their rent, stuff like that. I've always been fascinated with that type of content for some reason, because I like the numbers. I like to figure out how much does it cost to live there? How are other people living compared to how I'm living? And I'm not necessarily comparing myself to other people, but I'm just learning through their lived experiences. I will say, people who are in New York and they're paying like $7,000, $8,000 a month in rent, bruh, craziness. I don't think I could ever do that, no matter how much money I make. I don't think I could ever pay $7,000, $8,000 for rent. And then in that interview that we were just watching, Jason Oppenheim said he has a tenant in one of his rental properties paying $60,000 a month. Jason Oppenheim has one of his rental properties where one of his tenants is paying $60,000 a month. And it's nothing to them. So my question and what I thought when I heard that was, what can I do to make $60,000 a month? Does that make, like, that's crazy. But that's the mindset. Like, some people have a mindset where they can do that and it's nothing to them.